My opinion on same-sex marriage was my other question. I believe that people should be able to do whatever they want in their own lives. I don't personally care what somebody else is doing, and I don't believe anybody else should. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but in my opinion, I don't really care. I'm not bi, I'm not gay, I'm straight, but I don't care what the next person's doing in their own lives, neither should you. I believe in love and happiness, and if two guys are happy together or two girls are happy together, it should be legal. Straight people have the right to, be together and whatever and get married, and half of the time those aren't good relationships. Like, there's so many people that shouldn't belong together but are. So, if people are happy, let them be happy. Fuck your opinion and fuck your hatred towards it. Just no. Like, it should be legal everywhere, and I don't have a problem with it at all. Do you think that suicide is preventable? Why or why not? In my opinion on it. Yes I do, and yes I don't. Yeah, I do and I don't, because I believe that if you care enough to, try to change things or act like you care enough about somebody, that it can be. You would be surprised, what a simple smile, hello, compliment would do to somebody's day. You never know what somebody could be going through. They could have the worst day of their lives and think about killing themselves. And maybe, just maybe, your hello or your smile or your compliment on whatever towards them can change it. I believe that 100%. I've heard so many stories of people who wanted to kill themselves and they stopped just because of a simple, kind gesture that somebody did for them. And I hope that I have stopped somebody from killing themselves, or will eventually, because it's a horrible, horrible thing. And it destroys people and it destroys families, and it's awful. And I do believe it's preventable, because if somebody cares enough to try to, stop it, it can be prevented. But also, there are those people who get help, or people are trying to help them so much and they just feel like they have no other way, or they're just that upset with their own lives that it's not preventable. But I do believe for the most part it can be. If you care enough to try and stop it, it will happen. And if you're not judgmental and you don't discriminate against people and you don't make them feel like a horrible person all the time, it can be prevented. Like, people just judge people so much and stereotype them and hate on them and make fun of them, that these people and kids feel like it's never going to end and that's the only way out. And and some people just don't care enough to try or to notice that somebody else is upset, because they're too busy in their own problems. And I mean, I can't say that I've never been just really caught up in my own issues, but I try my hardest, I really do, to get involved with everybody. And if I feel like somebody's having a really miserable day, I'll try to compliment them, or I'll ask them like, are you okay? Or I'll try to get involved my best, because I don't want to see somebody hurt themselves, and I especially don't want to see somebody hurt themselves that I could have prevented. Like, if I seen somebody who was really upset one day and I just ignored it, and then I found out the next day that they killed themselves, I would be devastated. I don't even know how I would go on, because I would feel like that was my fault, because I would have felt like I could have prevented it. And if you see somebody that really seems miserable or just upset or anything, give them a compliment, see how they're doing, see if there's anything you can do, because again, I feel like any normal person, if they thought that they could have prevented it, they would be heartbroken to hear that something happened. So yes, I do. I feel like it, for the most part it is, sometimes it's not. Most influential person, dead or alive, and why? Tupac. Because I just feel like he was really influential to me, and an inspiration, because he was hated on by so many people, and he was portrayed in the media as being just a thug and just a horrible person. And to me, he stood strong and just embraced who he was and didn't give a fuck what anybody had to say about him, and I admired him for that. And I loved his mind. He had an amazing mind, being his age, and he just knew so much and just really seen the world for what it was and tried to change it with the very little time that he had. And that amazes me, and I hope that I can have the same mind he does and try to change the world slowly but surely. So yeah, Tupac. Have you lost any friends, and advice to people who lose friends? Okay, I don't feel like I lose anybody. I feel like people lose me, and I'll tell you why. It's simply because, I mean, I try to stay in everybody's life. I try my hardest to be a good person and, whatever. But I feel like I've had a lot of people in my life who just didn't care about me enough and don't deserve to be in my life. So I pretty much cut out those people, and I stopped talking to them. I stopped hanging out with them. I kind of just cut them off because I was like, you know what, they're really not a friend. Or like sometimes you lose touch, it happens. I'm not saying that everybody that I don't talk to right now that I've cut off, but I've cut off a lot of people in my life, and I'm not going to obviously get into names, but I feel better, to be honest, because if I felt like they didn't deserve to be in my life, like whatever, you feel good after that, because there are people who use you, take you for granted, just don't see what a person you really are to them, and whatever. So my advice to you is not to worry about it. If you lose anybody, they obviously weren't, they weren't, what's the word, they shouldn't have been in your life in the first place. If they're losable to you, obviously they weren't supposed to be in your life, and whatever. Obviously if there's death involved, I'm not saying that that's supposed to happen, but I mean, if you lose them, like, they stop talking to you or whatever, or they stop being your friend for God knows what, because I've lost friends for a lot of different reasons. And going back to the racist issue, that's been one of them. I've lost friends because of that, because we just disagreed, and it happens. So, like I said, if people are really your friend, they're going to be your friend always, and they'll always be there for you. And even the people that I've cut out of my life completely, or that I felt like weren't my friends, I'm always going to be there for them if they need me, because that's the person that I am. But for the most part, I don't stay in contact, just because I feel like they don't really deserve it. So my advice to you is not to worry about it, because if you lost them, they weren't your friends in the first place. You talk about cutting people off a lot. How do you feel about it? Going back to the other question, I feel good about it, for the most part. I mean, it's sad, but at the same time, I felt like it had to be done. And if it's really refreshing, because if you get negative people out of your life, or people that really didn't deserve to be in your life in the first place, it feels good. It really does. I mean, sometimes it's sad, but it also feels good.